Welcome, friends. Hello, everyone, and good morning. So excited to be with you all today. Thank you for joining us. I see that we have some friends commenting in the chat. Feel free to say good morning. Let us know where you're in from. We're so happy you could join us today for our second ever live virtual Arts for All Festival. Yay! Welcome. So my name is Kim Kuda Dring. I'm the Director of Education here at the Cummer Museum of Arts and Gardens. We're located in Jacksonville, Florida. Most of you are probably familiar with that. We're actually located on the ancestral and unceded homelands of the Timucua people, so Native Americans that used to be in this area. And to paint a picture for you today of where I am, so I'm a white female. I have shoulder-length brown hair, and I'm wearing a blue Arts for All Festival 2022 t-shirt. I'm kind of holding that up so you might be able to see that on the screen if you're viewing today. I also have a cool background. I'm not actually in our historically significant gardens, but I have the background of the gardens just to give you that outdoor view and vibe. It's a really great way to roll into this festival on a Thursday. So I'm going to start sharing my screen in just a second because I want to give you an overview of today's festival, and then we're going to go right into the welcome. Okay, so let's take a look at my screen. All right, you should all see a lovely welcome slide, couple of students that participated in our on-site Arts for All Festival that we had yesterday and the day before. We had a little over 400 students that came and joined us at the museum. And now today, Thursday, we're here with all of you and we're super excited to be with you. So a little bit about the museum. Some of you might have a birthday in May. Well, we had a birthday last November and we turned 60. I would say I probably don't look a day over 27, right? I mean, 60, come on. But we're so grateful to be with you all. And we're really grateful to Nina Cummer. She was basically our founder. She lived on this property. She was very into gardens and parks and art. She helped start Memorial Park. She started a garden club. She left everything that is now the museum so that we could actually start a museum with our gardens and with artwork. She wanted it to be a center of beauty and culture for all of the people in Jacksonville and beyond. That includes you. I don't think she would ever envision that in addition to welcoming thousands of students, thousands of visitors each year, that we would also be connecting with this crazy technology. You know, that was not even a thing back in her day. So I'm really excited that we're with you all during our 60th year. And I want to be able to say a big hello to everyone that's in the room today. So let's take a look at who's joining us. All right. Oop, let me go back just a second. From Clay County, we're going to do this in county order. We have 4 counties joining us today. So from Clay County, we have Middleburg. If you're in the room, wave your hands, shake your head, hop up and down. Don't get too rowdy because then the teachers, you know, they might get a little anxious, but just get excited. It's okay to be excited. We have Oakleaf Village, we have Plantation Oaks, we have Ridgeview, Thunderbolt, and Wilkinson. Welcome from Clay County. Thank you all. And now from Duval County, several of you. We have Bayview, Biltmore, Biscayne, Roach School Southside, Chaffee Trail, Discovery School at Hope Haven, Enterprise Learning Academy, Jean Ribault Middle, Joseph Stillwell, Kernan Trail, Loretto, Lovegrove, Mandarin Oaks, Mandarin Middle, Mayport Elementary, Morningstar, North Florida School of Special Education, Sable Palm, Sally V. Mathis, Sandalwood High, and Westside High. Welcome from Duval County, which is where the Cummer is located. We're in Riverside in Duval County. So welcome to our hometown peeps. We also have Nassau County in the house. Yes, we have Southside and we have Wildlight. Thank you all for being here today. Round of applause, joining us all the way from Nassau County and all the way from St. Johns County, we have the Broach School. So big round of applause. Thank you all for being here. We're so excited to see you. And I just wanted to let you know that you probably have some art making materials that were dropped off at your school last week, because we are going to do some active art making today, in addition to other fun art, garden, and music related activities. So we'll tell you, teachers, when it's time to get those art making supplies out. But we also gave you some complimentary family passes. What that means is we invite you, whenever it is comfortable and convenient for you all, to please visit the Kummer Museum, either with your families and friends, or if you can visit with your classroom or after school or another organization. We would love to see you in person and show you around the museum and our art and gardens. So check out that family pass and make sure you take those home with you. Now, we would not be here today if it weren't for not just Nina Kummer, but all of the folks on the screen right now who have given some time, and they've given some financial support to the museum so that we could provide this festival for you. So we have our presenting sponsor, Cornelia T. Bailey Foundation. We have our sponsors, the Borrowee Family Foundation, Chartrand Family Fund, Dubo Family Foundation, and the W.W. and Eloise D. Gay Foundation. We also have our partners, Coker Law, Cultural Council of Greater Jacksonville, Director Circle Donors at the Kummer Museum, the Players Championship, and Thomas M. and Irene Kerbo Charitable Trust. And we have our underwriters, Brooks Rehabilitation, Sable Foundation, and Ina Taffet. In addition, I want to recognize Dr. Lynn Razor and Jean Haldad, who started this annual festival with the Kummer Museum more than 25 years ago. It actually started at UNF even before that. So thank you to them, all of their supporters and sponsors, Bold Bean Coffee here in Riverside for donating some coffee for the on-site festival yesterday. And we're really excited to be with all of these students and teachers from Northeast Florida. So with all of that, now we're ready to start up the program today. So let me show you the lineup. This is really cool. So we're gonna do a welcome in just a second. I numbered these so you can kind of keep track of where we are in the program. We're then going to do a tour of the museum, of the arts and the gardens with my colleague Dulcie. And then we've scheduled in some breaks. So you'll notice we'll have a break with Just Ed Rhythm, some mindful drumming. We'll have then a music program with Mr. Arvid Smith. We'll have another break with Jack's Dance Theater. That's some mindful and fun music and movement. Then we'll have a Celebrating Us video with Connecting Through Music and the Kummer. We'll have another short break with Mr. Arvid Smith. Then the second to last thing is going to be our art making. So that's when teachers will get all those art making materials out, and the video will take you step by step with how to at least start this art making project that you all can finish on your own. Then we'll say a little goodbye with the flashbacks. This is a Pine Castle band. Okay, sound like a good plan? When we get to the break times, we'll let you know kind of what time you can come back. And the break is really an opportunity for you all if you need to use the restroom or if it's snack time, you know what you need to do in your classroom. So use that time to your advantage and however you would like. All right, we are ready to get started. We're going to go ahead and hear from our friends from Upbeat Music and Connecting Through Music. They wanted to welcome you all to the festival this year. They couldn't be with us in person, so they sent us a quick welcome song. What we're going to see on the screen in just a second, we're going to see 4 women playing guitar, and we're going to see 1 woman playing the tambourine. They're all going to be singing, and if you know the song, feel free to hum, sing along with them, dance around, and then we'll get started with the tour. Have fun.
Hi everybody, my name is Minda Gordon and I'm here with the Upbeat Music Therapy team. We provide music therapy through Connecting Through Music. Today we're here to do our hello song for you to welcome you for Arts for All. Play or sing along. Here we go. Hey there my friends, it's time to begin. Get ready to sing and play. It's time for music and we're glad you're here. got some music to play. We're telling everyone, hey, we're glad you're here today. Come on, my friends, we've got some music to play. Everybody, hey, 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 I'm so glad you're here today. Come on, everybody, and sing. Everybody, hey, 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 I'm so glad you're here today. Come on, everybody, and sing.
Yay! Welcome, welcome. And what a great way to say hello to us this morning. All right, let's jump right into our next and our first official art stop for this virtual festival. We're going to take a gallery and garden tour of the Cummer Museum. So if you've never been here before, this might be new to you. We're going to see some artwork and we're going to explore some gardens with my colleague Dulcie. If you have been here before, you might notice some things that are similar or very different from the last time you visited. Let's check it out with our colleague Dulcie.
All right, hello everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And my name is Dulcie Haas. I'm the Assistant Director of Education here at the Cummer Museum. And to paint a picture for you today, I'm a white female with wavy shoulder length brown hair. And I'm also wearing a blue Arts for All Festival t-shirt today with our wonderful new logo on it. So I'm excited to share with you some of the fabulous artwork that we have here at the museum, as well as our beautiful gardens. So let's get started. All right, so these beautiful large red rings outside, there's a huge red sculpture outside of the Cummer Museum, is located near the education entrance, and it's called the Sea of the Earrings. And this is normally the first thing that people see when they visit the museum. This is the main entrance of the Cummer Museum. When you use your free pass that Miss Kim was talking to us about earlier from your art kit, you and your family and friends will likely enter through these doors. And inside of the museum, we have all kinds of art, like paintings and sculptures from ancient history to the present day. And we have historic gardens right next to the St. Johns River. So are you ready to explore the galleries and gardens with me? Let's go. Let's take a look at this painting for a moment. Just take a look at all of the different things that are in it. And we're going to talk about what colors you notice. What colors do you notice in this? You can share with your neighbor some of the colors that you notice. There's lots of them. I know that when I look at it, I notice there are lots of blues. There's yellow and orange. We've got pink, different shades of pink. Purples, lots of purple flowers. Lots of green hidden all over. And white. I see a lot of white in this. All right, now let's look again. We just looked at colors. Let's look again at this painting. And I want you to see what shapes you can notice. What shapes do you notice? I noticed some circles, right? Some of those flowers are making circle shapes or in this shape of circles. Ooh, and that mason jar kind of reminds me of a rectangle. And then some objects like this ribbon are making triangles. I even see a triangle there. And I see ovals. Some of those flowers are making oval shapes as well. So tell your neighbor if you see any other shapes that maybe I missed. You can share them with your neighbor now. I bet you can find more than I did. All right, let's move on to, let's actually look again at this picture, this painting. And you noticed that I mentioned flowers. I'm sure you might have noticed the flowers as well. There are so many of them, so many. How many flowers do you think there are? Why don't you turn to your neighbor and you can talk about how many colors you think, or how many flowers you think there are in this painting. Take a moment, take your best guess. I'm not really sure how many there are. I haven't taken a time to count, but I know that there are lots of big ones. We've got these tiny little ones as well. So there are so many flowers in this painting. It reminds me of when you walk through the Kummer Gardens as well, because there are so many beautiful flowers out there, which we'll get to talk about in a little bit. But I wanted to see if you might, where do you think these flowers might be? Do you think they are inside? Do you think they're outside? Look closely. There might be some clues. There might be some clues to let you know where it is. If you look all the way up here in this corner, in the top left corner, all of this green, if you look closely, that is grass. That's grass. So we must be outside, right? We must be outside if there's lots of grass on the ground. This artwork was painted by Janet Fish, and she called it After a Wedding. The flowers look so real, almost like we could smell them. It would be really cool if we had smell-o-vision and we could smell all of those beautiful flowers through the computer. I really bet that it was a fun wedding. What do you think? I would have liked to have gone. That would be pretty cool. Maybe dance a little bit. Let's look at another painting here at the museum. All right, take a moment here and you can share with your neighbors some of the colors. We're gonna look for colors again. Look for some colors. You can share with your neighbor what colors you notice. I notice blue, gray, pink in the flowers, brown. There's lots of brown on the ground and around. We've got green and white. And I know that you've probably come up with some more colors that I didn't even mention. There are a lot of colors in this painting. So now I want us to look at it again without those colors on the side. Oh, and yellow. I forgot yellow. Let's see. So let's look at it again. Remember with the last painting with the flowers, we looked for different shapes that we could see and we could make out. Maybe the different objects in the painting form different shapes. So let's take a look here. What shapes do you notice? I can show you, I'm going to share a little bit with what I notice. And I notice over here, there is a fence and it's kind of making this triangle shape, which is really cool. And oh, I see some oval kind of shapes up here in the sky. And look at this. This area, you can kind of make a box around it. It kind of fits right into a box to make a square, right? Tell your neighbor if you notice any other types of shapes and tell them where you see them in the painting. Take a moment. All right. Okay, let's look at it again without these shapes. Okay, so when you look at this painting, can you spot the animals that are in the painting? I see 2 cows. I see a mama cow right here, And I see her baby calf right here with her. And the farmer here in the blue is sitting down. What do you think he might be doing next to the mama cow? Think about it. I think he might be milking the cow. What do you think? So when we notice we've got the farmer and we have the cows and we have this cool building that's behind them, what kind of a place do you think this might be? I don't think it looks like a wedding like the last painting we looked at, but where do you think this might be? Where would we find these cows and a farmer? That's right, a farm. So this is a painting of a farm. And look up at the sky. Look at the clouds that are in the sky. That's really where I saw a lot of the gray color in the clouds. So what kind of a day do you think it might be? What kind of a day? Do you think it might be a really hot sunny day? Is it maybe an overcast and cloudy day? Is it maybe a rainy day? What kind of day do you think it is? And what are your clues? What are your clues? When I look at it, I look at those clouds and I say, wow, they are so gray and dark. It looks like it is a stormy kind of day. It's a stormy day. Look at those clouds. Now, I wonder if the storm is coming or if it's going. That's a good question. What do you think? Do you think the storm is coming, like it's about to storm, or do you think that it already stormed? I just noticed in this painting, this fence down here. Remember the one that made the triangle? It looks like it's broken. So I wonder, maybe the storm came through already and it kind of broke the fence. What do you think? All right. Cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move out of the galleries now and we're going to go into the gardens. So this is a really cool picture of the Kummer Gardens. I'm going to show you this big building where my arrow is. This big building is the whole museum. And then behind the museum, back here, all of this green area with all these trees and water. This is the Kummer Gardens. So it's huge when you come and visit us. It's a really big area. And it's right along the St. Johns River. That's this big brown water area here. That's the river. So when you are making your way through the gardens, you'll notice that we have a lot of sculptures for you to enjoy. They're all over. And this is a sculpture of Mercury, and he was the Roman god of commerce and poetry, luck and trickery, and he was the guider of souls to the underworld. So look at his pose. Look how he's standing. His arm up to the side, and one leg is in the air. Doesn't he look like he was in a movie, like it's a movie and we just pressed pause on it and he froze in time? Looks pretty cool. What about this? What about if you try to pose like him? Can you move your arms like that? Maybe stand up, move your leg back if you can. Stand up and pose like Mercury. Look at all of our statues. Good job. Good job. Good job having our sculptures come alive. All right, so besides sculptures, there is a very nice place in the gardens to hang out, and that is under this large oak tree. This is the Kummer oak tree, and it is the best place to hang out under on a warm, hot summer Florida day. It is nice and cool underneath. It is nice and shady. and it just feels really good to stand there if you've been standing out in the sun. So I want to tell you something really cool about this tree. The branches are so large that if you took one end of a branch and went all the way over to the farthest end of the opposite side of the tree where the branches are, it would be the size of a blue whale. Look at this. I have my PowerPoint's coming. Hold on one second. I have this whale. There we go. This whale. It would be the size of a blue whale. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine if we had a blue whale hanging out in our gardens? Well, we practically do with the tree. It's the same size, which is really amazing. So we have sculptures, we have our Cummer oak tree, and then we also have, oops, one second, we also have flowers. Remember we were looking at the painting called After a Wedding, and we saw all of those beautiful flowers. Well, we also have lots of beautiful blooming flowers in the gardens, and they smell wonderful. Something else that you can see sometimes when you're out in the gardens are butterflies, like this one right here. They're flying around, drinking the nectar from the flowers, and they definitely enjoy spending a lot of time here. While in the gardens, there are also a lot of sounds that you could hear. You can hear the sounds of the highway that's nearby, the birds in the trees, and even water running through the beautiful, beautiful water fountains, just like you see here. I really hope that you can come visit us at the Cummer Museum and bring your family and friends so that you can enjoy our artwork and our gardens. And I'm going to turn it back over to Kim now.
All right, everyone. I had a hard time finding myself to be able to unmute. Isn't that just how it goes, though, when we're on technology? It's not like when we're in person and when you're ready to wave, you just wave. When you're ready to talk, you just talk. So, what did everyone think of that awesome tour of the museum? That was pretty cool. Got to see some art. And you got to look at some artworks, and you were actually using something that we call the elements of art. I mentioned this in the chat for the teachers, so you can talk about this a little bit more, even as it relates to any of your surroundings. This is not something that's applicable just to looking at artwork or just to looking at the gardens, but the elements of art, and there are 7 of them. Color and shape are 2. There's also line, there's composition, there's a few others. And it's how the artist use these different elements. How do they use color? How do they use line? How do they use shape? How do they arrange things in space, whether it's 3-dimensional physical space or if it's 2-dimensional flat space, like in a painting. We can look for these elements of art when we're exploring paintings, when we're exploring sculptures, when we're exploring mixed media, when we're exploring our surroundings. So you could even practice this in your classrooms after the festival today. See what colors and shapes you notice. Those are 2 elements of art. You could see what lines you notice. If and when you're making your artwork later today, you can go ahead and think about what colors am I using to express myself? What colors do I want to use? What colors am I drawn to? What colors am I most interested in? And that might be what you choose to express yourself. And you can think about what shapes might I want to create. And that helps become your artwork, or helps you create your artwork. And then you can look at this when you're on your way home, in your classrooms, in your schoolyards, places like that. So it's not just for art looking at the museum, these are skills that you can use wherever you are in the world. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I do hope you will visit us using your family passes because we have a lot more artwork and a lot more garden spaces that we just didn't even have time to get to today. Okay. I noticed that my colleague Dima is putting some info in the chat about where you can learn more about the museum. So take a look at that because that'll give you an idea of what we have to offer and what you might be interested in. Okay. Teachers also, as we're exploring today, feel free to take photos. We gave you a link in the educator packet. So you can send photos to us. You can send video to us. We would love to see how this festival is resonating with your students today and what you all are doing in the classroom. All right, we are going to jump into our art stop with Arvid Smith. So Arvid got to spend a little time in the museum with us and is a musical storyteller, basically. And whether we're on site at the museum or whether we're connecting with Arvid virtually, it's very interactive. It's really fun. And he's going to help us explore an additional artwork at the museum through music and a little bit of movements. You'll be able to clap along, sing along, but also take a look at the artwork while you're exploring and see what you notice in that artwork that has to do with music. Also think about colors and shapes and lines, which we learned a little bit about earlier. All right, you all ready for Arvid? Let's go ahead and do it.
Hello, strings are our thing. Strings are her thing. Strings are my thing. Strings are our thing. And I sure got a lot of strings. 1 string, 2 string, 3 strings, 4, 5 strings, 6 strings, 8 strings more. Because strings are my thing, strings are my thing. When they ring, they make me sing. Make me sing when they ring. I can sing me any old thing. I can sing any old thing, country folk or ding-a-ling. Start with my thumb, count up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm done. Time for the bass now.
Ooh, a new instrument.
Count 'em. 1 string, 2 string, 3 string, 4. Play my bass down on the floor. Play from the top, play from the bottom. All I know is I'm gonna rock 'em. Four strings, now 5. Our banjo is a drum with the guitar strings together. These 5 strings go pling, pling, pling. It don't mean a doggone thing. Play real slow, play real fast, play all day to make it last. And more strings to come. This time, more to count. Our box harp, because is 14, 15, 16 plenty? 17, 18, 19, 20. 20. baby do the way to get loud with more wooden wire and more strings and our good plug. Are you ready? And now back where we started. You know the drill. Let's count. 1 string, 2 string, 3 strings, 4, 5 strings, 6 strings, 8 strings more. Because strings are my thing, strings are my thing. When they ring, they make me sing. Make me sing when they ring. I can play me any old thing. And now let's do the pumpkin with the strings. Two great big pumpkins, here and here. Because always remember that strings are my thing, strings are my thing. When they ring, they make me sing. Strings are my thing. Strings are our thing.
Amazing. I had no idea he was going to bring that many instruments. Woo-hoo-hoo! What did you all think? Do we have any questions? I did see one in the chat, and I think we found out the answer. But before we answer that one, any other questions about what Arvid was playing or doing, and also the artwork that he was referencing? It was over his right shoulder. Kind of looked like a seated person, should look like a woman, kind of long hair, holding a string instrument. It seemed like a guitar, but it was also, did you notice it was sort of petite? It was kind of small. That could be called a lute. It's not like a banjo. It wasn't the shape of a banjo. It was more the shape of a guitar, but smaller. Not a violin. Violin, they would be holding on the shoulder. So that could have been a lute. So it's a guitar type instrument. Some of us were very excited about the first instrument Mr. Arvid played. It had how many strings again? I think it was 8. And it had 2 necks. So the place where the strings are located, that long piece of wood, is called the neck. Typically, our guitars have 1 neck and several strings. This guitar had 2 necks that were kind of split. So you see some space in the middle. Double neck guitar, I believe, is the term. We're gonna make sure we check with Mr. Arvid on that, but I think that that's called a double neck guitar. It's pretty cool. Well, I hope you had a good time enjoying and exploring the museum with Arvid. Strings are certainly his thing. Hope you all like some strings. Would love to hear more about your string experiences. But we're going to move on to a break now. And we are going to do a little movement and music with Jack's Dance Theater. So this is an opportunity for you to hang out and move along with our friends at Jack's Dance Theater. Alternatively, if it's snack time or someone needs a restroom break, this is a good time to take it before we get to our next section. I'm just looking at our next video will be celebrating us. So more exploration of art and gardens through music with our friends from Connecting Through Music. So let's see what Jack's Dance Theater has to offer us today.
Hi, my friends. So I am really excited to dance with you. Today we're going to be moving with inspiration from one of my favorite books called Papagami. So we're just going to get right into it. If you have a space or you even want to move your upper body or just your lower leg or even find a little dance with your head, it's all good. All of it is creative dance and I'm really excited to move with you. So let's get to it. We start with, this is one of my favorite pages. Are you ready? It says, good news can fly off the page to our eyes, filling our hearts with joyful surprise. Do you see the little birds coming out of the page? So I'm wondering if we can find movement inspiration from every one of these pages. How do you think birds move? I don't want you to be a bird. I want you to move like a bird. How does a bird move through the space? Does it glide? How do you glide through the space? Can you glide with your arms? Ooh, glide is direct, it's light, it's sustained, it's continually moving, but it has a direction. Can you glide all the way through the space? Ready, here you go, go! Can you glide with your legs? Can you glide with just your head? How do you glide through the space with your upper body? Ooh. Really flying off the pages. Can you get into the high space? Really high. Ooh, super high. Nice. Let's see what else we can add on, shall we? Whoa. Where should we go? Let's look at the map. The Far East, Africa, Timbuktu. I'll go anywhere as long as I'm with you. Do you see those little boats on that map? How do you think we can move like a boat? Does a boat sail on top of the water? Yeah. Do you think you can move a little like that water? How does that water find a little undulation to the spine? And what I really like about these boats is that they have that nice boop, tip of the sail. Do you think you could show me moving like water and then tip, boop, one big point? Ready? Here you go. Moving just like water. Find that wave in your spine. Can you find that wave in maybe your arm? Or how does a wave in your leg look like? Whoa! I've got a wave through my whole body. Show me that point. Point. Wait. Moving just like that ocean. Whoa, how do you find that tumbling sea in your entire body? Point of the sail. Go. Wave. Ooh, can you go low? Whoa. How do you find all that lowness? Point of the sail. Whoop. Wave. Point of the sail. Wave. Point of the sail. Wave. Good job. Oh, there's so many pages. Can we move on just a little bit and then we'll put it all together? Okay. Oh, this is one of my favorite pages. I just love this whole book. Are you ready? Whoa. Tiny silver wrappers in my pocket and my purse. Who knew my chewing gum habit would turn into such a clutter curse? What do you see? Do you see those little wrappers that turn into birds as well? Like our first page, but this time they're moving with the wind. And this, right here, see how that's circling? Comes in on itself. That's called a spiral. So we're gonna see if we can make a spiral with our body. Do you think you can twist and turn and spiral your body? Oh, how do you take, let's start in a one big wall shape. How do you take this wall shape and then turn it so that you have a spiral in your spine? There's a twist in your spine, there's a twist in your legs, there's a twist in your upper body, so your shoulders are moving opposite of your hips, your Ready? One big twist. Can you show me a spiral pathway in your hands? Ooh, can you show me a spiral pathway in your arms? Nice. Can you go spiraling? So it's that circle that comes in on itself like a tornado or a whirlpool. Pulls down on the center. Can you spiral all the way down? Big into a small spiral. Oh, can you reverse it? Go small spiral into a big spiral. Whoa. Woo. Big, small, small to big. Ugh. Can you show that in your legs? Can you spiral into your legs? Finding that twist or that ring in your body. Whoop. Nice. So we've got birds that fly off the page. We have a boat that sails through the ocean with a pointy sail. And we have these spiraling silver wrappers. Shall we add on just a little bit more? Oh, I'm so excited. Let's do one more page. Oh. 315 art class. The best is saved for last. Out of bright construction paper, I bring back creatures from the past. What are those? Do they look like dinosaurs to you? They look like dinosaurs to me. And I have a little nephew, and whenever he does dinosaurs, he has big, heavy steps that move through the space. He's got a nice curved back, and he finds ways of making his neck really long. Yes, do you think you could go through the space? Heavy steps and heavy shapes. Do I want you to be like a dinosaur? I don't want you to be a dinosaur. I want you to move like a dinosaur. So dinosaurs are heavy. They're long. Got curved backs, a lot of them. That spine that carries all that heavy weight. So do you think you can show me a curving back, long necks, and heavy movement? Ready? Here you go. Big heavy steps. Ugh. Long necks, curving backs, big heavy steps, big steps. Ugh. Ugh. Curving backs and long necks. Big heavy steps, curving back, long necks. All right, shall we put it all together? So we have, just a reminder, we have our birds that fly off the page. We have our boats that sail through the ocean with a pointy sail. We have our spiraling silver wrappers. And our heavy, curved back, long neck dinosaurs. Shall we try it? Ready? You go fly off the page, glide through the space. Direct. Light. Continually moving. In the high space, off the pages. Finding that move, undulation, waves through the entire spine. Pointy sail. Waves through the entire spine. Finding it left. Pointy sail. Wave through the entire spine. Pointy sail. Wave through the entire spine. Pointy sail. Wave through the entire spine. Don't forget about the legs. Woo, how do you find those waves and those legs as well? Pointy spot, or sail. Spiraling tiny silver wrappers. Twist, ring, spiral that body and spine. Find that spiraling pathway. Can you find a spiraling pathway through your feet? Second. From big to small. Whoa. Big to small spiral. One more time. Dinosaurs. Big, heavy steps. Curvy back. Long neck. Big, heavy steps. find an ending shape. Good job, dancers! That was awesome! Well, I hope you had fun, and I cannot wait to do more dancing with you, hopefully. But if not, I hope you continue to dance. I hope you continue to find ways of being inspired, of finding all of this art all around you. And until next time.
Wow! Birds, boats, dinosaurs, swirly twirly things. Oh my. I hope you all had as much fun as I did. I had to go off screen for a little bit because I was getting just a tiny bit too into all of this wave action. That to me was very soothing. It was really exciting. So I liked how our friends at Jack's Dance Theater incorporated just some everyday activities or things that we might see and experience and know about in our world and turn that into dance movements. I never thought to do that. So I encourage you all to continue doing that. You know, maybe your favorite animal is a dog, or you would like to sway like a palm tree. There's lots of different ways for us to be creative with moving our bodies to music or to whatever is in our surroundings. So speaking of music, we have a little more music for you, this time also connected to some art and gardens here again at the Cummer Museum. We're going to meet with our friends from Connecting Through Music, and we're going to explore celebrating us and communication with one of their recent videos. Let's take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Danielle. And I'm a museum educator at the Cummer Museum of Art and Gardens. I'm joined with Madison. She's a music therapist. And we are going to explore art and music and the theme of communication today. But before we get started, let's sing the hello song.
Hello everyone, it's time to say hello. Bop-shoo-wop, bop-shoo-woo. Hello everyone, it's time to say hello. Bop-shoo-wop, bop-shoo-woo. It's really great to see you and we're glad you're here today. Bop-shoo-wop, bop-shoo-woo.
Awesome. So let's head into the galleries and get started. All right, so we're here in the Stein Gallery, and the artwork behind me is called Dawn by Ben Durham. How do we communicate with other people? Some people use words to communicate their thoughts and ideas and emotions. So Ben Durham created this picture of his friend using words. He took an ink pen and made his own paper and wrote down all of his memories of their experiences together. Do you have someone that you're fond of? What memories do you have with them? Let's get a closer look to see what Ben Durham did. All right, everyone. We are here in the Ancient Gallery at the Cummer Museum, and behind me is an ancient Egyptian artwork called the Stela of Iku and Merimot. The ancient Egyptians had a written language called hieroglyphics, and they used pictures to tell their stories and their thoughts and their feelings. And thinking about our theme of communication today, there are many different ways that people can communicate. Some people use their bodies to communicate their emotions and thoughts. How might you move your arms or your legs or your waist when you want to communicate what you're thinking? Other people use their voices or make noises with their bodies. That's another way to communicate. As well as your face. How might you look if you are happy or sad or maybe a little angry? There are many different ways to communicate. So what are your favorite ways to communicate with those around you? Now, let's take a moment to look closely at this Stella, and then we'll hear some music from Miss Madison.
Kaka communication, Kaka communication, sharing thoughts, feelings, ideas, Kaka communication. Some people speak using words and inflections, some people sign using hands and faces, some people use a communication device, but any way to communicate is so nice. Kaka communication, Kaka communication, sharing thoughts, feelings, ideas, Kaka communication. Some people use interpreters or translators, others type text or write. Some people use pictures to get things across, but any kind of communication just rocks. Kaka communication, Kaka communication, sharing thoughts, feelings, ideas, Kaka communication. We can use our bodies to gesture or point, to show how we feel or what we want. Our faces too can show so much, body language can be so clutch. Kaka communication, Kaka communication, sharing thoughts, feelings, ideas, Kaka communication, Kaka communication.
Wasn't that fun, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we sign off, let's sing the goodbye song.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Thanks for playing today.
See you all next time. Bye.
Oh, I'm so glad that you got to visit with our friends Danielle and Madison and tour the museum in a little bit of a different way than when we toured with Miss Dulcie. And you got to explore a couple of really amazing artworks. What did you think of that artwork, Don? Remember how we talked about lines and colors and shapes? So if we were going to talk about colors in that one, not a lot going on. It's really just pencil on handmade paper. But the lines and the shapes, it's actually made with words. So it's interesting to me that you can create an artwork out of words, things that we use to communicate all the time, but I never thought of making an actual artwork that looks completely different than the words. What ways do you all like to communicate? You more of like a body mover, getting into the waves. Maybe you're a talker, maybe you're a typer or a texter. So many different ways to get our messages across. And sometimes that is through being creative and making art. And that stela from ancient Egypt, that thing is more than 2,000 years old. Remember we talked about the museum's birthday? We're only 60. But we have something at the museum that's more than 2,000 years old and came from ancient Egypt, completely different part of the world. So when you visit the museum, I encourage you to look at that ancient gallery and to look at our artwork, Don. Lots of exciting things to explore in the museum. All right, we are going to take a break with our friends from Just Add Rhythm. Do want to mention a couple of things. Teachers, this is a great time to get out those art supplies because after Just Add Rhythm, we're going to visit with our friend Devin to do an art making activity along with our colleague, Miss Dima. So you can get the art supplies ready during the break. Students can hang out and enjoy some mindful drumming with our friends from Just Add Rhythm. And also, if you want to take any photos or video, you can send them to us later on, just so we can experience what the students are doing in your classrooms today. Continue to put some info in the chat, and we're going to head over to Just Add Rhythm for some mindful drumming.
Say it, you can play it. So we're going to make up some rhythms and we're going to play them on our drums. You're going to play along with us. So we're going to start with the neighborhood. We're going to say my neighborhood. That's a community that most people can say that they live in a neighborhood of some sort. So we're going to say and play my neighborhood. Now Greg, I'm going to mute you for this because as you guys might remember, we have a sound delay on Zoom that makes it hard for two people to play at the same time without getting all jumbled up. So anyway, we're going to play together and we're going to go my neighborhood, my neighborhood. And you guys can play along with us. Say it and play it. My neighborhood, my neighborhood. We'll do 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, last one, and stop. Awesome. Now Greg will unmute you, and why don't you make up a rhythm for us to play together?
Sure. So this weekend I'm going to the beach to teach, and I'll be leaving my neighborhood and going to this other place, and I love the beach because it always makes me happy to be there. So my phrase will be, the beach is my happy place. 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 Yeah. And that's my rhythm.
Awesome. And I kind of noticed that our 2 rhythms, they fit really well together because when you play my happy place, it's the same rhythm as my neighborhood.
Oh.
So those 2, yours is kind of like a longer version of the rhythm and mine's a shorter version. So we're going to play them together. I'll start off by muting you, and you guys at home, you'll be able to hear my rhythm. And then we'll flip-flop. I'll mute me, and you'll be able to hear Greg's rhythm. And you at home, you can play whichever rhythm you want, or you could play both if you want. All right, so let's jam out together. 1, 2, everybody play. My neighborhood, my neighborhood, my neighborhood, my neighborhood. 4 more, my neighborhood. 3 more, 2 more, last one, and stop. Good, and we'll count Greg. Well, Greg, you can count yourself in. And Greg, you're going to play your rhythm, and I'll mute myself.
Okay, here I go. 1, 2, you know what to do. The beach is my happy place. 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 3 more. The beach is my happy place. The beach is my happy place. Last one. The beach is my happy place.
Yes. Let's give ourselves some Zoom applause. If you remember, this is Zoom applause. And I recently learned in another say it, you can play it. So we're going to make up some rhythms, and we're going to play them on our drums. You guys are going to play along with us. So we're going to start with the neighborhood. We're going to say my neighborhood. That's a community that most people can say that they live in a neighborhood of some sort. So we're going to say and play my neighborhood. Now Greg, I'm going to mute you for this because as you guys might remember, we have a sound delay on Zoom that makes it hard for 2 people to play at the same time without getting all jumbled up. So anyway, we're going to play together and we're going to go my neighborhood, my neighborhood. And you guys can play along with us. Say it and play it. My neighborhood, my neighborhood. We'll do 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, last one, and stop. Awesome. Now, Greg will unmute you, and why don't you make up a rhythm for us to play together?
Sure. So this weekend, I'm going to the beach to teach. And I'll be leaving my neighborhood and going to this other place. And I love the beach because it always makes me happy to be there. So my phrase will be, the beach is my happy place. 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 Yeah. And that's my rhythm.
Awesome. And I kind of noticed that our two rhythms, they fit really well together, because when you play my happy place, it's the same rhythm as my neighborhood.
Oh.
So those two, yours is kind of like a longer version of the rhythm, and mine's a shorter version. So we're going to play them together. I'll start off by muting you, and you guys at home, you'll be able to hear my rhythm. And then we'll flip-flop. I'll mute me, and you'll be able to hear Greg's rhythm. And you at home, you can play whichever rhythm you want, or you could play both if you want. All right, so let's jam out together. 1, 2, everybody play. My neighborhood, my neighborhood, my neighborhood, my neighborhood. 4 more. My neighborhood. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. And stop. Good. And we'll count Greg. Well, Greg, you can count yourself in. And Greg, you're going to play your rhythm, and I'll mute myself.
Okay, here I go. 1, 2, you know what to do. The beach is my happy place. 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 3 more. The beach is my happy place. The beach is my happy place. Last one. The beach is my happy place.
Yes. Let's give ourselves some Zoom applause. If you remember, this is Zoom applause. And I recently learned in another
Okay, friends, time to gather our art supplies. We're going to need the watercolor paper, the watercolors, paintbrush, which is included with your watercolors. There's white crayon. We have other crayons available. So if you want to grab other colors, that's great. Then each student gets a half cup filled with some water. This is just for dipping the brush, and a paper towel. And then we're going to get ready for some art making with our friends at Cathedral Arts Project. It's almost time. Is everyone ready for some art making? Have the supplies that you need. This is going to be really fun, and it's going to be very creative and very relaxing or energizing, depending on your mood today. This is also something that you're going to be able to start, and you might actually finish it later in the day after the festival. You might actually finish it in the afternoon, or you might finish it tomorrow or next week. So please go at your own pace. Teachers, caregivers, adult friends in the room, you can help the students along as much as they need or would like. And feel free, if it's too much, then they can go ahead and stop and continue with a different activity. Or if they want to wait to finish later today, there's no rush. You all get to go at your own pace and just follow along with the video, and then you can continue on afterward. So have those supplies ready. We're going to start in just a few seconds.
Welcome to the Kamar Museum, Devon. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I was part of this festival last year. We did an art activity last year, and I'm just really excited to be back.
We are so excited too. What are we going to work on today?
So this is one of my favorite art activities because it's not only an art making activity, but it's also a little bit of a magic trick and kind of a little bit of a science experiment. So we are going to be doing what is called watercolor and oil resist painting. And so as far as the materials that we're going to need today, we definitely want our watercolor paints. We're going to have a cup of water. Sometimes when I make art, I get messy, so I like to have some paper towels nearby just in case. And we're going to want a white oil pastel and a yellow oil pastel, as well as a couple sheets of watercolor paper.
That's so interesting. Let's start.
Awesome. So I happen to have heard that the theme for the festival this week is nature. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. So for our first activity, for our first step, what we're going to do is we're going to grab an oil pastel. You can use the yellow one, you can use the white one, or you can use both. I'm actually going to use both.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the theme, and I'm going to draw some nature shapes. Now, if you're looking at my paper, you might be like, I can't even really see that, right? Yeah, so this is where the real kind of like magic happens.
I love this.
So I'm going to make a few marks on my paper. And like I said, I'm doing some nature shapes, but there really isn't any wrong way to make art. So if you're in the scribbling mood, if you have like a favorite shape, or maybe even you want to write your name, it's up to you. You can kind of choose what you want to do. So if you are also someone that really likes to see the art that you're making for this first step, you can use your yellow watercolor or your yellow oil pastel instead. So I'm going to use both. Might do some leaves. There we go. And I'm thinking, it might be a good idea to give our artists that are working on this art project in the classroom, give them a few minutes to create whatever they would like. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna let everybody create their own artwork just with the oil pastels, and we'll check right back in for the next step.
Okay.
Awesome. So if you have made your oil pastel artwork and you are back, that means we're ready for the next step. Are you ready for the next step?
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah.
All right. Take your time.
Okay.
All right. And Dima is choosing also to go with the theme. We've got, I can see a little bit of a flower, and the white is hard to see, and that is also kind of what makes this art activity really fun. Now, I did mention that there's a little bit of science involved with this too. Have you ever seen what happens when you mix oil and water together?
No.
So oil and water, when you mix them together, they separate. They can't blend together, and that is what happens with this watercolor and oil resist activity.
Okay.
So let's move on to our next step. And for this next step, we're gonna need our watercolor paints. And I'm gonna grab my water, bring it a little bit closer to me. And have you used watercolor paints before?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, if any of these artists in the classroom, this is your first time with watercolor paint, let's take a second to just kind of talk about it. So when you open your watercolor kit, you're gonna notice that these watercolors are dry. You can even touch them if you want.
Yes, they are
right?
dry, yes.
So you might be looking at it and you might be like, how are we gonna turn these into paints? So you're gonna take your brush and you're just gonna get some water on it.
Okay.
And you're gonna choose your very first color. I think I'm gonna start with green. And if you notice, as you move your wet brush in the watercolor, it kind of brings the paint alive. And now we can use it.
Yeah, I can see that.
So whenever we take our watercolor paint and we're gonna brush it across our paper, we're gonna see that these secret messages kind of come out. And that is, like we were talking about earlier, that is the oil not mixing with the water here.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So let's take a second, and I'm just going to, usually when I paint, I like to paint shapes or I like to paint designs, but I'm just gonna add little blocks of color here. And if you notice, as you work,
yeah, I can see it.
It's coming through, right?
Yeah.
So that white oil pastel kind of pushes the watercolor paint away. And what is really cool is that same thing happens with any color oil pastel that you decide to use. So you might want to see what happens whenever you take a color and you put it over your yellow drawing. Let's see. I'm going to use some orange. And I'm just going to go across like that. And if you notice, it really resists. So it's any of the colors that you choose to use with oil pastels. And it's the oil that is in that art material that doesn't like mixing with our watercolor paint.
Yeah, it looks like the line is behind the drawing.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to let our artists in the classroom add as much color as they would like to this project, and we'll check back in. But for our artists that are creating, I'd like to encourage you to try different colors, see if you can fill your whole page with colors, and remember that there is no wrong way to make art. So we're going to let everybody work, and we'll check back in a few moments.
Okay.
All right, welcome back, artists. Dima and myself are putting the finishing touches on our artwork. I'm really wondering how your oil and watercolor resist painting went. What I would love to recommend everybody does is really get curious about your finished painting. See if you can find your favorite little spot in that painting. So for me, I really like how all of these colors right here mix. We've got some green mixing with some purple, mixing with some yellow. And I think it's really cool paying attention to how different colors mix together to create new colors. There's always something new to discover whenever we make art, isn't there?
Yeah, I love this area also where the yellow mixed with the red and we had some orange here.
Yeah.
And here the yellow mixed with the blue and we had some green.
I love that. And I think I recognize that logo.
It's my signature here. It's our museum signature, the Commerce logo.
Very cool. Well, what did you think of the art activity today?
It's so much fun, and I love this secret message. I can make one to my friends, and then they can color it with watercolors to discover my message.
I love that idea. It brings in some playfulness, and it makes a really great little gift to somebody, right?
Yes,
and
it is.
It helps them it helps encourage them to make artwork as well.
Yes, it is. It is. I love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing your talent with us.
Thank you for having me. And for the artists at home, I hope you had a great time, and happy art making.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Well, artists, what did you think of that? Now, you might still be working on it. Remember, that is totally okay. So if you're not finished, don't worry. Your teachers and the adults in your classroom will help you with whatever the next steps are, whether you're going to continue with the project after our very last segment, which is a very short segment, or if you want to put the materials away and maybe start it back up in the afternoon or tomorrow or even next week. This is something that you can keep doing, and you can use these materials even on different pieces of paper to create different secret messages and reveal those secret messages. So feel free to have fun with it, be creative, use the close looking skills and the elements of art that you learned about today, line, color, shape. Explore your outdoor surroundings. You can explore your indoor surroundings, and then take all of that and channel it into your own creative artwork using these materials. So art making really is a process. We provided some very simple, hopefully they're easy to follow steps today with Devin and with Dima. And again, you can use these steps and those same art materials to engage in this process even after the festival, either with the artwork that you've started today, maybe you didn't finish it, or with some new ideas that you have about artwork you would like to create. Okay, so continue using the materials, continue being artists, continue being curious. This was really so much fun to hang out with you today. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned a little bit, but more importantly, it's just an opportunity for you to have fun, to learn a little bit about the museum. And I hope you'll get a chance to visit at some point. We do have a YouTube channel. We have a museum website. So if you're hanging out in the classroom or at home and you want to see more from the museum, go to those channels. That's a really great way to visit without having to leave the classroom or leave your home. So before we leave today, I have one more special guest that I want to introduce you to. We have special friends, the Flashbacks Pine Castle Band. They're going to close us out with a fun song. Then I'm going to come back and we'll say an official goodbye after this short song from the Flashbacks today. Okay? Have fun. This is the light of mine. I could let it shine. This is the light of mine. I could let it shine. This is the light of mine. I could let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. they are amazing. Thank you so much to the Flashbacks, the Pine Castle Band. They're really, really talented artists. I'm so glad they got to share their talents with you today. So students and teachers, enjoy finishing your art projects. Enjoy your family passes. We do look forward to seeing you again soon, whether it's that next year's Virtual Arts for All Festival or next year's on-site in-person art festival, or even at the museum with your families. Okay, and teachers and program staff, go ahead. You can share photos with us or video through the link in the educator packet that we sent you. We are also going to send you an email, and that will have some additional resources for you as a short survey so that you can share your feedback. We've captured some feedback through the chat, but we would love to learn more about how this went for you and your students and what we can do to improve, make it better for next year. And without further ado, we're going to say adios, goodbye, sayonara today. Thank you so much for being with us, and have a happy Friday Eve. I like to say Friday Eve. We're looking forward to the weekend. Have a great day, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.